Well, our jobs, our professions, those things that we spend most of our time at, is it frustrating or is it fulfilling? You know, according to the world, success is getting a job and going as far as you can in that job, making as much money as you can to buy as many possessions as possible. There was a bumper sticker one time that said, the one who dies with the most toys wins. And so they would define success or winning in that way. That's the world's way of looking at it. But my friends, for the Christian or the believer, the disciple of Christ, it is quite different. Work should be meaningful. It should be fulfilling. It should bring dignity. Not necessarily just to be able to buy things with, but to meet certain needs. You know, success for a Christian is living out his life and being able to work and enjoy his profession so that he's able to be a blessing not only to his family but to those around him. And he leaves this life with dignity and his head held high that he has done meaningful work. We look at men, though, and men define their lives as work. When we men get together, we ask the question, well, what is it that you do? Work defines a man. But my friends, for a believer, work should not define a man. Our Maker should define us. Over in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verses 10 and 11, the scripture states, "And all that my eyes desired, I did not refuse them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure, for my heart was pleased because of all my labor, and this was my reward for all my labor. Thus I considered all my activities which my hands had done, and the labor which I had exerted. And behold, all was vanity and striving after wind, and there was no profit under the sun." My friends, work is frustrating when it is an end in itself. It's also frustrating when you compromise your integrity to please others. You know, there are so many people today that covet success or the world's success so much that they're willing to lie, cheat, steal, compromise themselves in order to get advance in their jobs. Work is frustrating when it has no dynamic purpose or is seen simply as secular. This is something that's a compartment of our life. That's frustrating when you look at it that way because you're really not working because you enjoy your work. Again, back in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 18 through 20. "Here is what I have seen to be good and fitting, to eat, to drink, and enjoy oneself and all one's labors in which the toils under the sun during the few years of his life which God has given him. For this is his reward. Furthermore, as for every man to whom God has given riches and wealth, he has also empowered him to eat from them and to receive his reward and rejoice in his labor. This is the gift of God, for he will not often consider the years of his life because God keeps him occupied with gladness of his heart." My friends, work is fulfilling when it is a means to meet needs. Your needs, the needs of your family, the needs of others around you. In other words, God blesses us with work so that we can be a blessing to others. Work is fulfilling when it is done with a clear conscience, with a pure heart, so to speak. It is done when it's fulfilling when it's done with a big picture in mind, that you're accomplishing something that's important in the big scheme of things, that it is adding to the blessings of this world. Work is fulfilling when it is seen as sacred. In the garden, God put man there to cultivate the garden, and he gave him meaningful work to do. So finally, my friends, I want to say to you this morning that whether you eat or drink, you play or your work, and especially your work since we're talking about that this morning, do it to the glory of God. 1 Peter 2 and verse 9 says, "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God, God's own possession, that you may proclaim his excellencies, whom has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." See your workplace as a mission field today. Meaningful work. Don't compromise there. Be a light on a hill. Be salt and light in the workplace today. And it will be less frustrating and more fulfilling to you.